Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukham karoti vachalam pangum gangayate girim. Yat krupa tamham vande Shri Guru Dhinatare. Hare Krishna. So we are into text number 21 of chapter 7, knowledge of the absolute. So Krishna, from yesterday's verse, the last verse, Krishna is explaining those who don't surrender unto the Supreme Lord, or who cannot surrender unto the Supreme Lord, they surrender to Devatas. And why they surrender to Devatas? Because their knowledge is stolen by karma, desires. So desires, whatever desires for their own self. That's why they surrender unto Devatas. So now the question or the doubt or the maybe discussion point will be like, okay, how few get attracted to different forms, right? Some get attracted to Ganesh, some get attracted to Durga, some Shankar. So Devatas are there, so many Devatas, and different people get attracted to different forms. So how it happens and why they get attracted? So Krishna answers this question in this verse. So let us see the verse. Yo yo yam tanu bhakta.
Yo yo yam tanum bhakta.
Shraddhayarchitum ichchati.
Shraddhayarchitumicchati.
Tasya 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 achalam shraddha.
Tasya achalam shraddham.
Tameva vidadhami aham.
Tameva vidadhamaham.
Yo yo yam tanum bhakta.
Yo yo yam tanum bhakta.
Shraddhayarchitam ichchati.
Shraddhayarchitam ichchati.
Tasya chalam shraddham.
Tasya achalam shraddham.
Tam eva vidadhami aham.
Tam eva vidadhamyaham.
Please chant.
Yo yo yam tanum bhakta shraddhayarchitum ichchati tasya chalam shraddham tam eva vidadhamyaham.
Yo yo yam tanum bhaktaha shraddhayarchutam ichchati tasya chalam shraddham tam yeva vidadamyaham.
यो यो यां तनु भक्तः श्रद्धयार्चितुमिच्छति तस्य तस्याचलां श्रद्धां तामेव विदधाम्यहम्.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's see the translation and purport. I am in everyone's heart as super soul. As soon as one desires to worship some demigod, I make his faith steady so that he can devote himself to that particular deity. Purport. God has given independence to everyone. Therefore, if a person desires material enjoyments and wants very sincerely to have such facilities from material demigods, the Supreme Lord, as super soul in everyone's heart, understands and gives facility to such person. As the Supreme Father of all living entities, he does not interfere their independence, but gives all facilities so that they can fulfill their material desires. Some may ask why the all-powerful God gives facilities to the living entities for enjoying this material world. So let them fall, and so lets them fall into trap of illusionary energy. The answer is that if Supreme Lord as Super Soul does not give such facilities, then there is no meaning of independence. Therefore, he gives everyone full independence, whatever one likes. But his ultimate instruction we find in the Bhagavad Gita: one should give up all other engagements and fully surrender unto him. That will make him man happy. Both the living entity and the demigods are little bit down. Screen little bit down. Okay. Both the living entities and the demigods are subordinate to the will of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, living entity cannot worship the demigod by his own desires, nor can the demigod bestow any benediction without supreme will. As it is said, not a blade of grass moves without the will of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Generally, persons who are distressed in the material world go to demigods, as they are advised in the Vedic literature. A person wanting some particular thing may worship such and such demigod. For example, a deceased person is recommended to worship sun god. A person wanting education may worship the goddess of learning Saraswati. And a person wanting a beautiful wife may worship the goddess Uma, the wife of Lord Shiva. In this way, there are recommendations in Shastras, Vedic scriptures for different modes of worship of different demigods. And because particular living entity wants to enjoy particular material facility, the Lord inspires him with strong desire to achieve the benediction from that particular demigod. And so he successfully revives the benediction. The particular mode of devotional attitude of the living entity towards a particular type of demigod is also arranged by Supreme Lord. The demigods cannot infuse the living entity with such an affinity, but because he is the Supreme Lord or the Super Soul who is present in the heart of all living entities, Krishna gives impetus to man to worship certain demigod. The demigods are actually different parts of the universal body of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, they have no independence. In the Vedic literature, it is stated the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Super Soul is also present within the heart of demigods. Therefore, he arranges through the demigod to fulfill the desire of the living entity. But both the demigods and the living entity are dependent on the Supreme Will. They are not independent. So we see how Krishna is accommodative, right? So Krishna already told in the Bhagavad Gita several millenniums back that if they surrender unto him, he will deliver them. They can cross over these material miseries, but still people cannot surrender unto him directly because of desires. So Krishna also told that if you have desire for money or remove your miseries, if you directly approach him, still you are a great soul. Krishna says all these four are great souls, but apart from that, there will be people who don't have faith or in direct faith in the Supreme Lord, because everybody is in the different level of consciousness and different level of and different modes. So to understand the real identity of the self, body and soul, it also requires certain knowledge, for which we need more of goodness. In passion and ignorance, we cannot go for knowledge acquiring. So still, there are many people who are mostly in the, at least in the Kali Yuga, it's mostly passion and ignorance. So based on that, they will approach different devatas. Based on what? Based on their desires. So Srila Prabhupada mentions few of them. Right? But in Shastra, there are so many descriptions that for particular thing, whom to worship. Durga or Lakshmi Devi, yeah, all these gods you have to worship. Then you will get the benediction you want. So, for example, like if I have an eye problem, okay, then for eye also there is a devta who is in charge of the maintaining these eyes of all the living entities. So I don't know the name exactly, but if you want your eyes to be proper, then you have to worship that god. So like this, there are for each and every problem, there are devatas. So, but to do that also, we need Shraddha or faith, that if I worship particular devata, I will get I will get my desire fulfilled. That also needs a degree of faith. Otherwise, there are so many people who don't have faith in the God itself. Right? So from where this faith comes to worship the devata also. So Krishna says in this shloka that I give them the faith. And how the faith is? Achala. It's very strong faith. Can you go up to the shloka? Yeah. So tasya tasya Achalam Shraddha. So Krishna is saying, I give them deep faith or a strong faith by which they can worship that Devta. So for Devta worship also, we need Shraddha. So by Shraddha, you can worship them with your heart. And as Super Soul, Krishna is guiding. Right? So if you want particular desire, how to fulfill that. And in that particular Devta, he will give you Shraddha so that you can do that worship. And Krishna is also as Super Soul in the heart of the Devtas. So through the Super Soul, he is also encouraging the Devtas to fulfill the desires of the person who worship him with Shraddha. So here Krishna's accommodativeness, right? His flexibility, you can understand that he don't interfere in anybody's independence. So I have independence whom I should worship. So if I want to worship demon, for example, if I have demonic desires, and I want to worship Rakshas, okay, so when I desire this, then Krishna says, okay, you should not do that. But if you want to do worship demons, okay, I will give you the way how to worship or whom should worship. So it depends on every living entity. Krishna don't interfere there. So this is also one lesson for all of us, that Krishna, though he is a supreme Lord, he has given us the free will or independence to think and act, and he don't interfere. Similarly, when we act in this world, we go with our perception, how we think, and we always try to impart what we are thinking on the next person. But the things don't work like that. Everybody has their independence, and as per their independence and their consciousness, they will do the things. So we also need to be very patient while operating in this material world, because never the thing goes as we want. It is always different. So it at every point there is testing. Uh, So Krishna's devotee, or when we are studying the Bhagavad Gita, we have to understand that how much God is merciful, how much Krishna is merciful to each and everyone. That if you don't want to worship me, okay, you worship somebody. Okay, I will give you the faith. I will get your desires fulfilled, so that at least you keep doing some worship instead of not worshiping anything, just doing what your mind says. That will not take you to the ultimate goal. So Krishna likes that. Okay, if you can't worship me, okay, you worship some devta, you get your desires fulfilled, and once your desires are fulfilled, maybe then you will have more faith. So there are many examples. If you meet the devotees, that they were worshipping particular devta, but as they desired that I want to understand who am I, why I am worshipping only this devta, why not that, why I have faith. When a person becomes inquisitive and try to understand the more deeper things, then as Super Soul, Krishna understands that this soul is trying to uh, uh, understand the goal of the life. Then he will direct us to the particular devotees. So by Krishna's mercy, if we come in association with the devotees, then we understand the real purpose of everything, and then we start doing the direct devotional service. So there is one way of doing direct devotional service, which is the direct path. Or somebody will say, no, I cannot do that, so I will go gradually, step by step. Okay, so you increase your consciousness step by step, from passion, from ignorance to passion, from passions to uh, goodness, but it will take time. Bahunam Janmanam Ante. So if you want to go by gradual steps, it will take so many births. But now, as we all are reading Bhagavad Gita, we are understanding, okay, Krishna is directly giving the instructions. We have to take those instructions. So we have an option to go by direct devotional service. Then Krishna supports that also. So Krishna will give more details about this worship, how a person worship devtas, and how indirectly he is in connection with Krishna. So the desires that we tell the devatas to fulfill. How those desires get fulfilled actually? Who encourage devata to fulfill those desires? That Krishna will tell in the next verse. But this is a indirect way of worshipping Krishna. And it is a gradual step, a gradual process of going towards the ultimate goal. So still here also, Krishna is giving us the independence. You choose what you want to do. Right? So that's how Krishna is so merciful that he takes care of each and everyone and everyone's desire also. So it's what we desire, we become. So we like to see how these desires get fulfilled. Krishna in this words said, I will give you Shraddha. So once the Shraddha is there and we start worshipping, how those desires get fulfilled, that we'll see in the tomorrow's shloka. Krishna, thank you very much. These 3-4 shlokas are important because, and also many discussions happen on this. So if anybody has any questions or points, they can freely say. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for joining. Let us see tomorrow about desires. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
For joining. Thank you, Parth. Thank you, Parth. It is sleepy. Parth wants to sleep.